Okay, hear me out. I've covered the P. Diddy thing, although I've never gotten down to the nitty-gritty details. And the reason why I haven't is because everything surrounding P. Diddy is many different, completely separate, different things simultaneously going on at once. And while nobody wants to be disparaging to any victim at all, or anything that they may have suffered or endured, or anything that's in any of these lawsuits, or what has been alleged versus what actually did occur and did happen, we can't know that because we didn't witness it. And I just didn't want to ever touch that. You know, I talked about the indictment. I showed the actual indictment itself, and I have that over my YouTube if you want to see it, the entire filing. I also talked about the raids of his house, his court stuff, but I left it at that. I didn't get into anything other than this person has now come forward and filed a suit. Now this person has come forward and filed a suit. But I just want to talk about something that has really bothered me, because this new documentary and all 5 episodes are now on HBO Max. And that is this, The Fall of Diddy. And there's 5 episodes, and you have to watch all 5 of them to get the full story of the fall of Diddy. But there's something that really bothers me at the end of the 2nd episode. Thalia Graves, which is a new accuser, procured one of the most famous attorneys and did a press conference. And I talked about that and how she was filing a lawsuit as well. There are 2 men who have filed lawsuits against Diddy. One of them has just cause to sue him because he produced entire album and music and worked on lots of other things for Diddy without being properly paid at all or getting his royalties and other things. And so that's completely separate. Now, the other man that filed a lawsuit, I can't say the words on here because it is against their community standards to say certain words, but he's alleging 1 instance of forced SA. And it wasn't the person, the female that he was intimate with. She was consenting. It was Diddy when he told him to be loyal to him and he felt forced and did it. So he is alleging other things. But the thing that was concerning to me is you did all of this stuff and released these messages about how you did this job for 7 years. You willingly did that job for all those years, and your moral compass didn't have a problem doing some of the most disturbing and disgusting things for him, setting things up, the lights, the items that were ingested, the entire atmosphere, and then going and cleaning and keeping his private life private and deleting things off of Safari and deleting the things that he would record, which is telling me, why would he record it and then delete it? Well, there's no point in that unless you're recording and then uploading somewhere, and then you want the file deleted off the device itself. Well, this guy says in episode 5, which you got to go watch, that there's a clear difference between the parties that Diddy threw with these Hollywood celebrities, these big all-white parties that he's been throwing since the 90s that were all elite, exclusive, and the parties that he would have, which he would call freak-offs, or he would call them king nights. Those are personal, private, separate from spouse and kids, all of that. Separate, 2 separate things. So that's why I say with Diddy, there's all these multiple, totally different things happening simultaneously, and they're all true. But it just makes this case so much more complicated. And nobody wants to be disparaging towards anybody that has been harmed. But there has been 2 people in the documentary that have only come out, that have been friends of Diddy, that reached out to him, that willingly partook in a relationship with him, a friendship with him. And then a year and a half goes by and continues a relationship with him, reaching out to him, wanting to be in his life and sphere again, which is very telling. But the man that is alleging all of this stuff I feel for him. I really do. But then it also begs the question, why did you work for him for so many years doing that? Doing those things, cleaning up after him. All of those substances and things that you were clearly are not legal substances. In fact, most of them are not. 2C, which is pink snow, it's other types of things, like anything that's psychedelic, those types of things. That those are not legal. He didn't get a prescription for those. The other things too, like the medications, he did not clearly have a prescription for all of those. And that. You're working for him and you're giving him all of these things all the time, and you're in the text messages saying, yep, okie dokie, okay, copy that, and you're complicit. You're willing. You work for him. You wanted to work for him. You did work for him for years. And then there's only a problem after he is raided and he's arrested and charged. Then we're seeing all of these lawsuits. But my biggest problem is Thalia Graves. And the reason why is because she recounts what happened to her. She was married with a child. She wasn't even going through a divorce yet when she started cheating on her husband with a Bad Boy executive who worked for Diddy at Bad Boy Records. In her lawsuit, she's trying to sue Sean Combs and his bodyguard, also Joseph Sherman. And now he is suing her for making the whole thing up and not telling the truth. She clearly had Gloria Allred, who is a famous Hollywood celebrity and victims' rights attorney. She procured her, and they did an entire press conference where she sat there quiet and her attorney spoke for her. The thing that's concerning about her lawsuit is it very clearly is looking for money. This supposedly happened in 2001. She says she was fuzzy and she was given something in a drink, which she willingly took, but she didn't know that there was something laced in there. So she drinks it and then she's either unconscious or not unconscious, but she has memory of what happened to her. And she alleges things that nobody else has ever alleged that are completely opposite of the MO of what other people have said is the MO of Diddy. So I'm just really confused because especially with the thing that he was putting in the baby oil, I have to be so careful here. The thing that he was putting in the baby oil is the type of thing that makes you not awake. It makes you sleepy and you can't control it. And to a point where you're not going to remember anything. So remembering this and remembering that, and then not a little bit, and then remembering this is kind of not how that thing works. But what I'm questioning from the documentary is why would she even partake in the documentary? Her lawyer should have told her, no, do not partake in this documentary at all. Because now you're talking and now you're saying that you remember the almost entirety of what happened to you in 2001. It didn't take somebody telling you 24 years later that it was recorded without your knowledge for you to remember that it happened to you, because you have memory of it happening to you. So why 24 years later did it take you to come forward? And I understand that that's how it works sometimes with people, but this is why I'm questioning. Her boyfriend that worked as an executive at Bad Boy Records with Sean Combs has come out because they did end up getting married after she split and legally divorced from her first husband, who she had children with. Okay. This boyfriend turned her second husband actually came forward and is going to testify in court, no doubt, that she told him, if you lie and you back our story against Sean Combs in 2001, which is when she knew him and when he and her were hooking up and he was working at Bad Boy. If you back this story, not truth, story. If you back the story that she will give him $3 million out of the settlement she's trying to get from Diddy. And he is supposed to be called as a witness.